You got a rubber duck in there.
No. So, what is up, guys? Welcome to episode number 53 of Reezy Talks. This is the first episode of the second year of doing the show, and I am super glad to have Brock Johnson on the show. What's up, Brock?
Just turning down the volume of you because I'm getting bad reverb. Okay, not much, man. Having a good day. How about you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Besides my late planning, but that's pretty typical. Brock actually blessed us with this appearance because I think I texted him last night and was like, "Hey, I don't have anyone for the show. Can you do it?" And he said yes. So I'm pretty stoked about that. It looks like you're having a party behind you, man. What do you got going on back there?
Dude, this is my basement. So when I was, I wish I have a picture of it. I don't have it with me right now, but I used to just live, or it all started out in college, and I just had a little closet, and I made my own standing desk, and I had always wanted to just have this giant idea lab.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started like planning out in my head. And so I finally made it. So I just have this big basement. And yeah, so I got those lights that I made. So I just made like the whole basement whiteboard so that I can, come up with all my ideas and just think, and yoga
Yeah.
mats, trampolines. And
It's like a mad scientist laboratory down there.
yeah, I got a 3D printer and stuff too. So if I come up with an idea, I'll build it. And
You can test it real quick. Who are
yeah,
those figures you got in the back? Do I see David Hasselhoff in the back?
you do. David Hasselhoff, we got Chewbacca over there. Then we got Buddy, Will Ferrell, right there.
Yeah, no, I saw it. He's off the screen right now, but I saw it earlier.
Well, I figured like you gotta have a cool background for YouTube, so it's like let me get some lights. And actually, the lights were before YouTube, but
Yeah, no, it does good because you have good front lighting, and then it looks super super cool back there. Like if you're having an after party, I want to be there.
yeah, right.
So real quick, guys, in the description there's a link for Brock's YouTube channel. Click on that, subscribe to his channel. Always good to show our guests some love. And if you want to see an example of what explosive growth looks like on YouTube, check out his channel. Look how many subscribers he has. Look how many views he's getting on his videos. Something he's doing is working, which I imagine we'll get into talking about that a little bit too. But before we get there, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you were doing before you started selling online and how you got into selling online?
Yeah, so let's see. Well, when I started selling online was actually when I was in about 8th grade or so. My friends were selling on or my friends had all these video game systems, and so all right, I gotta take the video of myself down here. Sorry, there's like a reverb, and I'm all right. Yeah, so I was selling stuff for my friends on eBay, kind of like a valet service, like the eBay valet service right now. I was doing that for a while, and then just like was kind of doing video games, and like I played World of Warcraft, and I realized there was kind of a difference between prices on each world, and there was all these like different economic things or different times of the day stuff would sell for different prices on the auction house. So like that's where I kind of got
You're
started.
talking about the auction house inside of World of Warcraft, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I've heard a little bit about that before, but weird stuff. Like I knew friends who were like, yeah, and this is gonna be a dumbed down version of what I heard, but it's like, yeah, I bought all the daggers that I could find one afternoon, and then 2 hours later I sold them back, but I was the only person that had daggers, so the price skyrocketed or something like that.
Yeah, so there would be like raids or people, basically there wouldn't be many people in the middle of the day, but everybody would come home from work, and then they'd all go and do these raids, and they needed potions or just all these boost up stuff. So you could buy it up in the middle of the day when the Chinese, so there's like people that would literally be Chinese farmers for a living, and they would go and mine and get all these resources and then sell them, and then take that gold and then sell that for real money. So there'd just be a huge supply dump in the day, and nobody was buying. So you could buy it up and sell it at night and make money.
To the American market.
Yeah. So I was kind of doing that, and then had taken that concept, and then when I got in college, I started to do just anything I could to start flipping and making money. Let's see, I did pennies. You ever heard about that?
Collecting pennies?
No, what I would do is I would go to banks. So before 1982, I think, are made out of 95% copper. So if you were to melt them down, they're actually worth like 3 cents, and they're worth 1 penny each. So I had this giant machine that I found from some guy in like Ohio or something, and you could just put all the pennies in there, and then it would sort out the good and the bad ones. So I would go to a bank and be like, "Could I get $1,000 in pennies?" And
Damn,
some
they
bank,
hated you for that.
they did, but Wells Fargo was nice enough to do it for me. So I would like load up, and you put them in my car. The car would just be like, go all the way to the
Is the
ground.
machine sorting them by weight then?
It had some magnetic sensor or some type of weight. I'm not exactly sure how it worked, but basically I could get $100 of pennies and sell them for $190 was the way it worked out.
After you would take the return pennies plus the ones that were copper.
Yep. Yep. So I would do that, and then I would return the pennies and then just get dollars back, and then trade the dollars for pennies. So
Wow.
I was just
sell the copper to like a gold shop or whatever.
well, it's technically illegal to melt down US currency and destroy it. So these would be people who were buying them for an investment. Basically, they thought, oh, look at copper prices. They're only going to go up over time. And the worst case scenario is that they're worth nothing.
It's worth a penny.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But it was good for me because I was like, well,
yeah, I know. I didn't know about that with copper, but I know about that with silver. So like quarters older than like, I don't know what it is, 1969 or something like that. They are like what, 90% silver or something like that.
Yeah. So I had tried doing that, but it wasn't as fun because it would take forever to find one.
Right, so, because that market is more saturated. People doing that.
Yeah,
which makes sense because I've never heard of the penny thing until now.
Yeah, so we were doing that, and that was working. And then we actually, but then some guy started kind of screwing. Well, the post office hated us because the only way it was profitable was this loophole that you could send up to 70 pounds in a flat rate box.
In a small flat rate box.
Literally, you could fit $100 perfectly in a medium one, like if you filled it to the brim. And so pennies. The post office hated us. They were probably losing a bunch of money, but then all of a sudden they started to break on us, and we were losing pennies. And then one guy bought hundreds of dollars worth of them, and he was like, "These aren't copper ones," blah blah blah, and made like he was just screwing us over.
Right? Yeah,
just do the eBay rules. So then it was like sweet, and he sends back like $38 of pennies to us.
Yeah, I recall. Someone in the chat is saying they shipped bricks in those. Hopefully they're talking about actual bricks and not illegal bricks. But I remember I had a buddy that was making money shipping, selling saw blades on eBay. He would buy them from Home Depot, and they fit perfectly. The circular saw blades fit perfectly in the small square boxes, which I don't even think they offer anymore. And, if you imagine you fill a whole box with saw blades stacked, that has to weigh like 50 pounds or something, right? So,
wow.
Similar situation. The post office hated you, but, you can't hate the player, just hate the game.
Yeah.
So what'd you get into after the pennies?
Pennies and then card counting. But then I got banned from most of the casinos. And it was kind of depressing being around, like I would go there and there would just be people smoking all around me. And and they're old and they were losing money. So it was just like, I don't know that I want to be doing this with my life.
Right.
It's just a roller coaster of emotions. And so, and then I started getting banned from places, and I was like, all right, it's time to move on to something else. So then we
too much.
Yeah. And then we decided to import from China. And this is where I almost did private label, but basically we started to import Beats headphones. And we were just noobs in college. And so we were like, whoa, look at this. You get these Beats headphones for $20. They sell for, $180 on eBay. Well, of course they're counterfeit.
Right.
But we knew it, but we didn't at the same time. And then, so that
you didn't want to look into it.
No, we were just like, hey man, this is great money. Cool. And then they caught us. And then we were like, oh, let's just make another eBay account. And then nope. Well, we didn't do a very good job at that, and so then they banned us for life.
So eventually, what was Amazon the next thing you got into?
Yeah, well, I did end up finding a way to get another eBay account, So what I did was I was like, hey, I'm not going to import from China because I got screwed over on that one, partly my fault. But so then we went to, what did we do? Oh, surplus stores for uh, colleges, and that's where I made a lot of money. So,
What kind of stuff were you buying there?
oh man, you'd get like we were getting some mics like this. You know, these Sures they've been making them since the 80s,
Yeah, what is
70s.
that? SM58?
SM7B. But
7B.
yeah, so I would find some of these and they're $500 mics sometimes, or like some of the other ones I was finding, and I was getting them for $5.
Hmm.
I mean, they wouldn't
Were
be
you, were they be
consistent
coming from the
supply.
music department?
Yeah, so essentially where I would make my money is they're gonna upgrade the printers, they upgrade the computers, they upgrade. So basically anything technology related, I would get
Mhm.
that and flip that and make money.
And you were selling it where, on eBay?
Oh yeah, yep, eBay, and then sometimes I would sell on Amazon. That's actually where I learned about selling on Amazon was I put the iMacs, so these all-in-one iMacs, I would sell them on eBay, but I was only able to get about $250 or so,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would throw them on Amazon. I would get $450 for the same thing. It's like,
Mm.
whoa, what is this? That's where I learned the lesson. Like, oh, people pay more on Amazon than on eBay.
Yep.
So
What iMacs were those? Were they like when they were squared or when they were all in one
yeah,
screens?
they were iMac A1225s. So they were these ones from 2008.
Okay.
So there's this kind of depreciation curve of computers where they're still able to do web browser and everything in their Mac so they don't get viruses. So they would be valuable to old people, but they wouldn't look that much different than a brand new one. And the performance for what they did was basically the same. So why would they go and pay $2,000 for a new one when they could just buy one of these
Yeah,
old ones that
when all they're going to do is check their email and go on ancestry.com.
yeah, basically. So but then I got tired of old people calling me. But
Yeah, those
no,
same computers are probably worth a lot more now, like as
I
collector's items.
yeah, oh yeah, some of the beginning ones. Or I know
Yeah.
the original iPod is worth.
Well, even just the because I learned how to. I used to edit videos on VCRs, but then when I went to high school was the year that the iMac came out, the very first iMac with the video editing, and it had the clear candy shell colored. And I know those ones are worth considerable
Oh, the
amount. Yeah,
purple.
purple,
Oh yeah.
orange, green, red, those ones.
Yeah, so you can make yeah, you know there's a kind of a drop off curve with tech where it will maintain it won't yeah. And then basically what I learned from the surplus stores is just there's no incentive for those guys to work harder. The guys that are
Oh
selling
yeah.
it. Like they don't get a bonus, they don't get a percentage of what they sell, and they're like 60. They're just like, oh, whatever. It's just printer,
Right.
$3. A giant
Yeah,
printer.
because if you don't
Tired of
buy it
carrying
for
this in
three
and out
bucks,
every week.
if you don't buy it for $3, they're gonna send it to the recycling center anyways.
And then what they would do sometimes is they would get a new printer, but they would buy 3 years of ink at a time. Well, that ink's still good, you
Right.
know. And then they stop producing that ink at some point, and you got to
And the
buy it
price
somewhere.
skyrockets.
Yep.
Skyrockets. Yeah, that's that curve. That's a good point I want to point out to the viewers is that a lot of technological items like that have this curve where they're in high demand, and then it starts waning, right? But it doesn't like drop off like a cliff. It's a slow drop because people still use it, like Brock was saying. Well, then what happens is when that demand stays the same for a long time, but the supply decreases, it starts coming back up. And that's the reason now that you can still sell VCRs, for a decent amount of profit on Amazon because not a lot of people, if anybody, I'm not sure, is making VCRs anymore. But people still want VCRs. And I don't know who these people are, but I have my intuition is like maybe nursing homes, maybe elementary schools, maybe daycare centers, maybe places that don't want to deal with discs getting scratched, stuff like that. So, yeah, technology goes down, comes back.
Yeah, yeah, that's honestly where I made all my money through all my reselling career. It was always on technology because that's what I knew a lot about. So, um, yeah, I know some people know a lot about clothes. I know you know a lot about shoes. Yeah, so it's
I'm
just if
learning. I'm
you,
learning.
yeah, right. So that's a tip. If you're just getting started, look where or at least interested, because you're going to be researching and Googling and like at least learn about something you're
Yeah, it's
interested in.
definitely a good place to start. So like when I first started on eBay, I mostly focused on electronics and video games because that was all I knew about.
Dude, that's where I started too. I started that's what I did next actually was right after the surplus store. The dream was to make $20 an hour. So, then there was like, all right, this is better than having a job somewhere
Oh,
else, $20 an hour. So I wrote a computer program that would kind of analyze. So basically, I went to a garage sale once, and for $20, I bought this pristine set of N64 stuff that I ended up selling for $800, all of it.
nice.
And I was like, wait a minute. There's old people who their children moved out, whatever. We're getting rid of his stuff. Throw it out on a garage sale or throw it up on eBay. And they're going to take really terrible pictures. And they're going to
Right.
maybe write one sentence. Like, looks like it works. Haven't tested it as
Right.
is.
Exactly.
And those are what I love. I hate a listing where it's beautifully pictured, beautifully described. I go away right away. No, because the more information there is about something, the less good of a deal you will get. And that's actually, so basically, I'll tell you about this, and I evolved it into sourcing IMAX. So I would find these video games and I would find these bunches where they hadn't listed out all of the games.
Right.
And then I would, so look at these games. And then I had, there was this one place where I could find out the average selling price off the past 6 months. And so I could essentially figure out what the value of each one of those. And then I wrote a program that would calculate what I could resell it for based off of my prices, because I had set up a price for each one.
That website's still around too. I forget what it's called, but if anybody in the chat is watching and knows that website, it basically tracks video game and console prices and availability across all platforms, and kind of like a stock market. So you could actually make an account and say, I want to buy this game, but only when it hits the low price, and then it will tell you what the lowest price it's sold for in the last year was, and then you'll get alerts for it and you can flip it. I know about this because my little brother collects video games, and he used it. He has, let's say, a $10,000 video game collection that he only paid $2,000 for because he bought them all at the low point over a couple years.
Yeah, dude, so that website was awesome. They gathered and did all the data for me. So I just made a program where I could quick type in the names of what was in it, and then it would tell me, boom, and then it would calculate exactly how much time it would take for me to go and resell this and the cost, and then essentially tell me what price I should bid if I want to make $20 an hour, because I had all the time, the costs, and everything.
Right.
And then I would just put that into my program, and then it tells me what I should bid, and then I would put that into another auto bidder, so that would bid with 3 seconds left, and then it would auto bid what would automatically make me $20 an hour at the last second. And so that's what, yeah. And then you could just adjust how many dollars an hour you want to make, and boom.
So you're a programmer.
Kind of. I have my computer science degree, but when I code, I want to just tear my hair out.
Right. Sounds like me.
Because if you want to make something happen, it takes like 6 hours to make that simple idea work.
One thing I want to note, another little pro tip about that website, which if any of you guys are watching and figure out the name of that website for us and put it in the chat to share with the other Reezy Ninjas, it's a good idea to search for the highest selling games. Look at the top 10 highest selling games for Nintendo, for Super Nintendo, for Sega, for all platforms, and maybe print out a list of everything that's sold for over, I don't know, $25 or $50 or something like that. So, and then memorize it so that you will be able to tell, at a moment's notice at a yard sale that copy of Harvest Moon for Super Nintendo, that's a $150 game versus, Donkey Kong Country, which might only sell for $20, which is still a good selling price, but you're going to be able to get both games for $10 each or whatever. And Donkey Kong Country, you might make $5, but on the Harvest Moon game, you might make, $120. So, good thing to memorize which games are going to be worth more on the platforms.
It's called pricecharting.com.
Price charting. Oh, is it video game price charts?
I don't know. Maybe they might be using the same API actually. Because I do remember it. Yeah, that sounds more familiar, but they might have rebranded as price charting.
Yeah, I think so too because I searched video game price charts and the first thing that came up is pricecharting.com. Let me see if I recognize the interface.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
price charting because
yeah, I wonder the other one should have came up. I wonder if they just lost their name over, like it expired and someone else got it.
that or they might have, just someone might have just bought them out
Right.
to
Yeah.
cover
It
this
looks like there's
niche
an what is
market.
this other one? GameValueNow.com. Anyways, there's a couple resources for that sort of thing. Definitely check into those and see if if it's going to be of use to you.
Yeah, but I think that's an awesome one. So yeah, I did that. Now, what I did was okay, so but there's a lot of people doing video games and there's whole businesses that are just resellers of video games. Like there's
Right.
old video game shops. So that wasn't very good because there was
Right. Yeah, there's
competition.
way too much competition right now. Like if I was to go on Craigslist right now and look for video games, I might see more ads for people saying I buy video games than
Yep,
I would
yep.
actually see video games for sale.
But what you don't see is ads for. So I thought, okay, this is great, but how do I make more money? Well, I could sell more items or I could sell more expensive items. And then, so that's the
Right.
only two ways. You either sell more or you sell more dollar value. So I said, all right, let me just sell more dollar value. So I took the same model that I had, and now I said, let's apply this to IMAX. Those are freaking, because I ran into them at the surplus stores. And then I was getting them great. And so I was buying them for about $200. And then what was nice was on Amazon, they only had a 6% fee for these IMAX versus the 15% normal. And
Wow.
there's actually a deal through FedEx where I would find these perfect boxes and I was able to wrap them up in this bubble wrap and then sell them for 450, $500 and shipping was $20. $20 shipping and my referral fee would be what? 500 times 6, so $30. So I'd get 450 net and I bought them for 200. Okay,
Wow.
sweet. I'd go and
Nice.
I would get 8 at a time. I'd just fill up my car with these IMAX, but bring some blankets, and I make $1,600 in a haul. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this is actually where I kind of got into private label. Was well, then they started to have they'd have keyboards and mice, but they wouldn't have the perfect amount. And then I realized, wait, I can sell these official iMac keyboards and official iMac mice for 50, $60 each. So then I imported my own mice and my own keyboards that looked like they had the Apple feeling, but they weren't like saying they were Apple, but they looked that Apple like
Yeah,
feel.
like possibly made in the same factory
Yeah, yeah. Well, they weren't that
or across
necessarily
the
nice,
street
but
or something.
yeah. So I got those for a mouse for $2 and a keyboard for 3 or something. So now for $5, and then I was able to, because I would be selling on the same page that other people were for these iMacs, but I just wrote a really, really, really good description. So
Yeah.
people wouldn't want to buy the other ones. They would literally pay $150 more for my listing because I had of course, I had a 90-day money back guarantee and a warranty. They never broke, but nobody else would put that. So I would put that, and then I would say this nice bundle, and then I just took really professional photographs of one of them and then had like really strategically made the background on the screen while it was turned on. So it's like kind of doing branding. And then I made my seller name very obvious that I was an electronic reseller. And then so all the words so that they just thought, oh, this is an official like reselling refurbisher of computers.
Right. So at this time, you were learning about how to increase your conversion rate per impressions and how to attract the clicks, basically based on
Yep.
the things that you could modify on the listing.
And I did that on eBay too, because I made like a nice theme that had Mario stuff on it and whatnot, and named myself like classic video game treasures, and so I was literally able to sell the games for a lot more than everybody else, just because I had better pictures too,
Right.
and this nice listing. So that was
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, definitely key, guys. Like if you can provide more value to the customer in your listing, whatever platform it is, whatever thing you're selling, it's like eBay, for example, they give you how many slots do you get for photos? Like 12 or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but if you're smart, you use all of them because that's how the buyer shops is through pictures. So you should use
and
all of them.
you include pictures that you use in every single one that talk about your company. Because they're like, oh, wait, this isn't a dude selling this. This is a company. Look at
Right.
this. Like you can have
I don't know what the policy is on eBay as far as doing stuff like that
maybe you're not allowed to
nowadays.
do that.
But
That's
yeah, you're definitely right. Anytime you can put the customer at ease, if it said, like chucking pegs, barn, like you're not likely to get as many sales.
yeah. So I would literally, and then this is the same concept that I use for Amazon too. I would just go to the absolute most competitive niche for everything. And then I would look at the top selling products and then I would just steal their formatting and everything. They have proven the best words, they have the best outline, they have the best everything. So then take that and then there's your template and then now make it yours.
And yeah, and translate it to your niche, right?
Yep.
Is it niche or is it niche? Which one do you say? Niche.
Niche. I guess it depends on the sentence.
Niche.
Yeah.
I say niche. I don't know. Is it a French word? Niche?
I don't know. It sounds kind of no. I
Italian or something. I don't know. Language is not my niche. So yeah, so going on from there, let's get into when did you finally actually get into like legit private label on Amazon, making your own product pages and stuff? And were you very successful at first, or how did that go?
Yeah, so well, I did Radio Shack then, which we should probably talk about that.
All right, yeah, let's talk about that. That actually pertains a lot to the current closing of Toys R Us.
Yeah, so I did a video on that, so people should watch that on my YouTube channel, but I didn't go into depth on everything because
I'll link to that video up here or up here, like one of those spots. Just right now, you should see a thing you can click on, but it won't come up until after the video's been posted. And I'll link to Brock's video that he's talking about right now.
Yeah, so basically, I was doing the video games and IMAX, and then I got to a point where, okay, I graduated college now. And so my family was expecting me to find a job. And I was looking for jobs. I was putting in all this time. I was applying to Google, applying to really great places, and I didn't want to settle. And so that kind of gave me time. So I was like, guys, no, I'm not just going to take a simple job. I'm going to go for the best. And then my wife was looking for grad school. So I kind of had this little period of time. My friend was he would just smoke every day and look on Reddit and look at posts. And then he just sent me a picture one day. He's like, hey, this guy went to Radio Shack and he got 95% off everything. And you should go look at that. I know you resell stuff. And it's like, what? So
shout out to the homie on the couch who helped you out with that one.
Right? Oh man. No, that changed my life. I would be corporate. If he wasn't getting high that day looking on the couch, I would be on a completely different life path, probably working at some corporate job.
That's insane. I love the way the world works.
Dude, it's crazy. I was just talking about that with my wife yesterday. It was wow. So because he did that and said, all right, let's go to one. And then I was disappointed at first, but then all this, because it was, see, this will happen to anybody that goes to Toys R Us right now. You get disappointed. You see like 20 to 40% off. Their weekly sales are better.
Yeah, like it's not 90% yet. Like what gives?
Yeah, so that's where a lot of people mess it up because they just give up then. But that's you kind of got to go and see what the stock is like then, and then slowly see, like calculate and see what would be profitable at what points, and find the best items that you would really want. And so that's what I did. And then I would look and see what was happening at each percentage range off. And then I knew where that number that I would get a lot.
Right. So you basically had a list, maybe in your head, maybe on paper. These items are going to hit when it's 40. These are going to hit at 50. These are going to hit at 60, etc. Yeah. So that when the prices dropped, you didn't have to go in there and do research. You had already done your research. You were just going in to buy.
Yeah. And then I also thought about, well, why is there so many of these? And what is the demand like? And where I actually made a lot of money was I found these things. They were cell phone signal boosters called Wilsons, and they would sell for $400 or so. And and I was like, who needs this? Because we're in the cities, so nobody would buy these things. $200, normally 400. Okay, who cares? I don't need a cell phone boost. And they would get all the way down to $100, but they'd sell on Amazon for $400. So
wow.
Yeah, and there just wasn't that many resellers doing it.
Was that your main ticket item that you made your money on at Radio Shack?
That was one of them. There was also, what else was there? There was these Sirius XM car radio antennas, and you don't need them, and you're not going to buy like 10.
Who needs them?
Well, yeah, but people do need them if you want to add Sirius. But your everyday Joe Schmo isn't going to walk in and be like, oh, I've because you have to pay a subscription fee for it too.
Right, right.
I was able to get those, and then Radio Shack intercoms. They had these wireless intercoms, and apparently there's not many intercom manufacturers in the world left because we have cell phones and but
you just text your kids and say it's dinner time.
Yeah, but where they're actually used is businesses, or hotels,
right?
Where you've got, especially in shady areas where you don't want to, you need glass,
right?
Just a little push through. So there were all these companies, and they would have these intercom systems from the 90s, and eventually one breaks. I got to buy another one. So, but they were never made again. So I bought up all these intercoms and I held on to them. And I said, there's going to be a constant demand of these, and I have the last ones. So, but nobody going into the store would want them. So it's kind of these weird niche things.
So how did you go about acquiring all the products from Radio Shack? How many stores did you go to approximately? How much money did you spend overall? How long did it take you? How did you find the stores that had all the best deals? Because you said, you walked in and you were disappointed at first. How did you go from that to being quite excited?
Yeah, so well, they closed in different rounds, and that's how I figured it out. So it wasn't like all the stores just closed at once. They actually had about 14 rounds of the stores going out. And so I got to see trends among each one. Oh, okay. Well, this many days out, they're going to do this type of scheme, and this many days out, they're going to do this type. And so by going through my first round, I started and I only had $1,000 and some credit cards. But then I just started to see what I could make money on, and then when the products would go down and like sell out. And so I just got kind of used to it then. And you just had to go to the different, I literally just went to every store at first to figure out where the good deals were. Or what you could kind of do is, okay, well, this product normally would sell out at this point. And then you could call stores, and if they have that product, and a lot of them, it's like, wait a minute, there's something up with that market there, because this should be sold out. Because if there was a lot of high, like, consumers with money to spend in this high niche category, then it would be sold out. So therefore, there's like, maybe it's just not an economically like area where they have enough money to spend.
Right.
And I know, like, here in the suburbs of Minnesota, the rich, like, it's bad to say, but the richer people won't go to the lower income neighborhoods to shop. Like, it's just not in there. They don't normally travel there. They don't care about getting deals that much. And some of the lower income places, they wouldn't have enough money to buy some of these. And so that's where I actually found a lot of my best deals, or in a very, very urban area where there's just not enough people. So it matters like how many dollars are around that store, essentially what it comes down to.
Right.
Well, so I actually got.
So did you find out, like, is there a way that they rate the stores internally, or what it's called, and how we could use that for Toys R Us?
Yeah, so it's different for every company.
I remember you told me some word when we spoke previously, and I was like, I've never heard that word.
So basically what you do is you look at the discount range right now, and then you call stores, and are they all at the same discount range? If they're not, well, there's probably 2 or 3 groups. They're always like, all these stores are 20 to 40, and all these ones are 50 to 70. So therefore, those are the ones that are all going to close on a certain date. And then the other ones are going to close on another date. So you find all the ones that are, by the way, I went to over 200 Radio Shacks total.
Wow. How long did that take you?
Like a year and a half.
Wow.
Whole process.
It takes them a while to close.
Well, because they were looking for a buyer.
Oh, I get it.
So it was like, well, we have to appease the creditors right now. So what are we going to sell off? Let's get rid of the money. Whatever stores are losing the most money, get rid of them. What could we liquidate fast? So it all comes down to they're not thinking where's the most value for this company. They're thinking
Does it have to do with like annual profits per store based on how they group them or something?
yeah. Well, then it's also who wants these leases,
Oh, right.
because that's what if you
Some
see
of them might
radio
have a longer lease period than the other ones, so they can hold out longer.
like Radio Shack and Sprint had a contract with each other, and that's kind of what propped Radio Shack up for a bit, because Sprint came in and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this," but Sprint didn't want Radio Shack; they just wanted 1,000 retail locations in the snap of a finger. So they got to
Right.
pick and choose where they could now have a retail store. And leases in strip malls are actually kind of hard to get, and primetime ones right next to a good supermarket.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So yeah, overall there's a lot of factors that go into which ones are going to close, but all you need to know is, okay, which ones are closing in a certain group. So you got to determine how far you're willing to drive.
Right.
I mean, I drove to New York, Boston, down, like I went across the whole country down to Kentucky, and I didn't care because I said I was making like $5,000 a day
That's
when
awesome.
but I would wait until there was essentially this point where it would be like 50, 70% off, and then it would go 60 to 80. And something about that number made people go crazy, and people would just buy up stuff. But it was also a point where you would mathematically be able to pretty much double your money on everything you bought if you got it 70% off and it was decent selling. So I would get there on that morning and just buy up. And then there were certain things that where one day I got to 80 to 90% off in the heart of Milwaukee. And it was just like filled with these high-end electronics, and it was crazy. I made
Were you just using a personal vehicle, or did you get a van, or were you using a
I
U-Haul,
did
or what?
when it gets to the really cheap point, then you got to get a U-Haul because
Like
it's
a
just the
U-Haul van or
volume.
like a truck?
I got a trailer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
so borrowed my dad's car, got a trailer, and just said, "All right, let's do this," and
So
filled it up.
one thing I want to add in real quick is because you said you drove around the country, which is one thing you can do. And I don't know if you had this option at the time, but now we have things like TaskRabbit, where you can hire people for all over the United States and different places. It's not available everywhere. Like I don't have it in my area, but you can literally say, I want someone to do my laundry and bring it back to me. I'll pay $10, and someone will say, I'll do it. Or they'll say, I'll do it for 12. And then you say, okay, deal. You pay them, they come and pick up your laundry, go do it, and bring it back for you. But I have heard stories of people doing this deal, not like for closeouts, but let's say there was a certain item that was on. We lost Brock for a second. He's back.
You're good.
Let's say there was a certain item that was a really good deal to flip. Let's say it's like the hottest Lego toy or something. I don't know. And for some reason, it's going bananas. And you bought all the ones you could locally. You drove, an hour and a half in all directions, and you got them up. But there's more out there in the United States. So this person actually developed a script. They A and B tested a telephone script to call Toys R Us and get them to check the stock in the store. Because he realized that when you would call, you wouldn't get to act like they would actually most of the time say they were checking, and then they would just wait and get back on the phone and say, yep, we don't have any. And they didn't actually go and look on the floor.
Yes, that was a key. So what I found was you had to really, the words you use depends. And so what I would say is oftentimes birthday, child, something where you emotionally get them, and you have to
Exactly.
give them a reason.
Yeah. So then once there's a human involved, they're like, you're calling these stores and saying, my kid really likes these store. I work for the Boys and Girls Club. I work for an orphanage. And we really want to get them this toy. Can you go check? And then he found out that he got a 90% actual stock versus, 20% when he just said, ask them to go check. So then he hired a phone service to call every single Toys R Us, and then got the stock into a spreadsheet of the entire United States of every single store.
Oh.
Not joking.
I did that, but
and then
I didn't use a call service. I just hired someone. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Just let me finish it. I'm terrible. I'll forget what I was going to say. And then using a service like TaskRabbit, he dispatched rabbits all over the United States to go pick up these products for him and take them directly to FedEx or Staples. where Staples or FedEx would take up the rest of it, which would be putting it in a box and then putting the shipping labels on it and sending it to Amazon FBA for them. So there's a million ways to get it, guys. Like we're living in the best time ever, hands down. Like there's never been a better time. Things change so quickly, and if you are just, a little bit before the majority of people on anything, you have such a huge advantage in the world we live in now.
Yeah, dude, that I agree so much. There's a famous quote. I think it's from Tony Robbins. I don't know if it's Tony or whatnot, but you're not limited by your resources. You're only limited by your resourcefulness. Like there's literally everything
I like
out
that.
there, and you can go out and I mean, I started from literally nothing, and just hustled. You're just there. You find different ways, and if you just keep going, pretty soon the ideas come faster.
Yeah. I'm where I'm at now. I need a team because I got way more ideas than I have time to implement them, which is why I like doing the YouTube channel, because I have too many ideas. They're going to die inside my head. I might as well just give some of them away. At least I can look at it and be like, yep, I knew that would work. Like I just didn't have time to do it, And so it's awesome to be able to share that with other people who might have time to do it or whatever. So Radio Shack, crushed Radio Shack. Let's get into the Amazon private labeling. I don't know if you want to share any of your products or categories, things that you got into. I don't know if you're still active. I don't know how many products you have currently or whatever, but let's just get into the tip of the iceberg, and then we'll get into eventually into the solar eclipse classes.
Yeah, so I started out with private label. Well, like I said, I was doing the Amazon where I was selling the iMacs, and then learned the power of bundles where I was, with the iMacs and doing that. So I realized, okay, there's some way to add value here. And then I was trying to invent and make products. So I was doing all that wholesale with Radio Shack. I was actually doing wholesale with Radio Shack because they still kept open, and then I was selling their stuff for twice as much. So they were literally selling it on their website, and I was selling it for twice as much on Amazon still at the same time, and actually doing more volume than them too. Yeah.
It's funny. You think as a seller, you might think, well, why don't they just sell on Amazon? They can make more. Oftentimes they know they could make more selling on Amazon, but they do not want to sell on Amazon because that contributes to them losing customers. And that one sale doesn't matter to them as much as it does what else is that customer going to buy once they get to Amazon that they used to buy at Radio. Maybe they're going to buy batteries, and Radio Shack was their one-stop shop for batteries. Well, now they're screwed. So that's why a lot of these stores don't sell on Amazon themselves. It's not because they don't know about it. It's because they can't contribute to their own attrition.
Yeah, it is that. And there's some guy sitting on the board who's old and says, we're not selling on Amazon. Right. He just lays down the law, and the young guy in the room is like, come on, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but we're younger, and
shut up.
We know it's if you can't beat him, join him, right? And you can't beat Bezos at his game, right? So, for example, some of the largest companies are still trying to fend them off, like Nike. Nike finally made a deal with Amazon, and they sell a very small amount of Nikes directly on Amazon. I'd say far less than 5%, maybe like 1 to 2% or something of Nikes are sold by Nike on Amazon or to Amazon directly. But they refuse to release their entire catalog to Amazon, and they won't do it. And it's because, they have their own website. They sell on Nike.com, but I'm pretty sure that in the next 5 to 10 years, there won't be any shoe stores left. You won't be able to go buy a pair of shoes, at the store anymore. That will be unheard of. It'll be all online.
Yeah, I like niche only shoe store. Yeah, there's no way. So
I mean, Nike would probably be the last one that holds out because they have the largest brand equity, and they do sell, not just shoes. They've got socks and, jogging pants and jogging shorts and headbands and sports bras and yoga pants or whatever they got. But, the trend is apparent, Americans do not like to go to stores. If they can get it online, why does my wife have to go to Ross or Marshall's to get a plunger? This actually happened, and it took her 2 hours. She was gone for 2 hours. This damn store is 15 minutes away, and I was like, okay, you're off 2 days a week from school, and you just spent 2 hours at Marshall's to get a plunger. We could have ordered one off Amazon in 3 minutes. Like, why? It's not worth it.
Dude, I know. I like I sometimes I don't even want to go to the grocery store that's like 2 minutes from my house. So I've just gotten to the point in my life where I'll just buy it something on Prime now. It's pretty sad.
Right. Do you have 1 hour delivery or same day delivery?
Yeah, I have
Oh, that's
it's
beautiful.
2 hour delivery. There's a fulfillment street down the center down the street from me.
Wow, that's amazing. I wish
Yeah.
I had that. I unfortunately, but I mean obviously fortunately, I live in a beautiful beach town near the ocean on the West Coast, but we have a lot of stuff we don't have. You know, we don't have TaskRabbit, we don't have grocery delivery, we don't have Uber Eats, we don't have a lot of stuff. But
Some people should try to sign up. Sign up for the Amazon delivery if it's in your town. My bud or one of my cousins did it, and he said he was making like 25, $30 an hour to just do the Prime Now deliveries.
oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to choose your own hours, and it's just like a push app where you can just see the shifts available for the next day, and you just
Oh, just like Uber basically.
yeah, yeah, it's
Nice.
yeah,
Get the money while you can, because in the future the automatic package delivering
yes,
trucks are gonna text you, and they're gonna say, we're outside your house, come outside and get the package, and it'll know you're at home because you will have shared your location of your phone with the Amazon delivery truck, and it won't take any humans. You'll walk outside, you'll scan the code they sent, you'll put in the code they text message you on your phone to the Amazon delivery truck, and the package will slide out of the back, and there will be no humans involved.
yeah,
It's
yeah. So
gonna happen.
take it while we can.
So back to the private label discussion.
Yeah, so originally it got started in so Radio Shack essentially cut me off and I was depending on that for a lot of my income. And then eventually they ran out of stores to go out of business. So I couldn't make money from that anymore. And I just got tired of doing the IMAX were working. And I could have made a couple $100,000 just selling the IMAX, doing that. Because I was able to source them on eBay, just like I sourced the video games. But it wasn't fulfilling, and they were big and heavy and just wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. So I said, okay, I need to make something scalable and I can sell things for more on Amazon. Let's try. And I tried originally doing, but I wanted to be, I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to just throw my label on something because that was kind of worse than reselling in my head.
You didn't want to white label stuff.
No, I'm not just to do nothing unique or new and to just throw a label on something. No, like that's because I love technology and I was actually trying to invent light products for years, and that's why I have that. I mean, I have all sorts of cooler ones that are portable, and eventually I'm gonna have like you guys will see in the future.
So what did you get into first?
Yeah, so the first ones I got into were it was a coffee mug.
You're looking to see if you have one around?
Oh, I've got them. Yeah, basically I had, let's see, or not. Oh, well, I had some stuff here.
Brock is looking for a product that he previously private labeled, which is around his desk somewhere.
Okay, well, regardless, can't find it at this moment. It was like a wristband that said 80/20 on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it said like think smarter, not harder. And so it's like I was listening, and pretty much every entrepreneur talks about the 80/20 rule at some point in their life.
Right.
A subconscious reminder of what, so it all made sense in my head, and it logically could, and I could sell these on Facebook and whatnot, but I just was trying to go Amazon route, and then Amazon is all based off of keyword search volume and matching the best products to each keyword. Well, nobody was looking for an 80/20 wristband. The people looking for 80/20 were looking for
books.
Yes. And then the people that were looking for wristbands, if you don't know what 80/20 is, you're not buying it. Like
Exactly.
So it was just, I had each element, like it's good motivational wristband is good, but not, nobody was looking for it with the right keywords. So I learned there that you have to be inventive, or you could be inventive on Amazon, but within a certain, you have to invent within what those people are looking for, that it
So
still matches their
work
intent.
it backwards from the search volume.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. So then I'd done a coffee mug that was 80/20 also, and that sold a little bit better. I was able to sell my first run sold 200 or 300, about 300 of them. And, but these were all made in the US because I said, let me learn about this, and how could I do it in a way where I'll eventually be able to use it for something, or the loss is so small that it doesn't kill me.
Right.
And so coffee mugs, I said, well, I can eventually pawn these off to people. They cost $2.50 when I'm done, said and done, or $2 with my own screen printed thing on it. And I was selling them for 15, $20. I made money on it.
So
But
you
then,
basically bought a product which you had a good backup plan in it.
yeah,
Which is something I always tell people too, when you're buying products to resell or to invest in and you're unsure, but it's also something you like yourself or you can see a use for personally, that should make you feel more sure of your purchase decision, because it's like me with the water bottles, right? If I didn't sell the water bottles, which thank God I did sell the water bottles, I would have 100 really good quality water bottles, and everybody I know would get a water bottle for their birthday for the next 10 years.
yeah,
So,
exactly. So there's some type of utility. And whenever I go to meetups, I would give them away and stuff. So I like that. And that's what I did. And then what
so
was my
still
next?
still very marginally successful with private label at this point. Haven't really hit a home run yet.
Was almost able to convince Radio Shack to let me be the director of their entire Amazon presence, with only have sold one coffee mug pretty unsuccessfully.
Wow.
Yeah, but then they went bankrupt for the second time, and that was game over.
That was the end. So after the coffee mugs, what did you get into?
Then what did I do? Oh, well, then what I did was the wristband again, but I matched it with demand. And so then I did the wristband, but I did it with famous Bible quotes,
Okay.
because there's people
Like,
looking up, like, where
not
is
like WWJD, right? That's probably trademarked.
no, not that, but just like a Bible, like I did the Serenity Prayer. Like it's commonly recited and everything. And there was a guy who was doing them.
Like
And
do they do that at Alcoholics Anonymous?
yeah, so there was like
Okay,
these
yeah.
different, yeah.
That's
So
why I know what you're talking about, because I'm not religious, but my parents are alcoholics. So
okay,
shout
yeah,
out to AA.
yeah. So there's people like in those, or prisoners, like people, chapels, or like the people that go and, or who are super religious, and they go and donate their time to people
Right.
yeah. So they would buy,
Chaplains, I believe, is the word you were
yeah,
thinking of.
yep. So they would be looking for, or if your child, like your grandparent and your children are getting confirmed, or your grandchildren are getting confirmed, so stuff like that. And so I never ended up launching those though, because so I copied somebody and I made it better though, but then the quality when they came back to me sucked. It was nothing what I wanted at all, and he took a month and a half to make them when he said it was going to be a week. So I didn't have a good supplier. So that was my issue. And I didn't want to throw up these half done Serenity Prayer bracelets. But there's actually a guy who's making $500,000 or more a year on Amazon, just taking these Bible quotes and or like quotes from Einstein and stuff, putting them on pens, making gifts for teachers, gifts for like these small groups. He was like even making one where he makes gifts for like motivational volleyball wristbands. Like, go
Wow.
team. The
Right.
coaches that, yeah, he was selling over 100 of these, but he would make bundles. So he would sell, because these would cost 30 cents to get made. And so he would sell 10 of them for $20, and it cost him $3. There's no storage fee on these. So just go to Fiverr, come up with a quote, $5, you got it made, throw them in, and then hand package them yourself in these little gift boxes and throw them on Amazon. And the storage is, let them sit for 5 years.
It was a lot. Yeah, it's a lot more now. I don't know if you're up with the new fees, but they just implemented. So they didn't used to have long-term storage fees. Now they do. And it was once a year. Now it's twice a year. And it was at 2 distinct time points in the year. So you could get, 11 and a half months of storage before you got your first 6 month storage fee based on when you sent it in. but now they're doing it rolling to where they charge it on the first of every month for anything that's 6 or 12 months old, plus 50 cents per month for anything that's over 12 months old.
I didn't know about the 50 cents per month over 12 months. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so it's pretty intense, you know. I sell mostly books, and starting as long ago as I did, when there was no long-term storage fees, there was also a single ASIN exemption. And with books, we had, 90% of our, I had 30,000 plus books, and it was 29,500 different titles. So not a lot of multiple units, and so I didn't have to pay any storage fees on anything. And then then they realized how we were pimping out their system, and they started cracking down. So it's a lot more than it used to be, but it's definitely still
29,000 books.
profitable. More than that. I think we had almost 40,000 at one point.
Did you buy any book that was like nobody's selling it? Screw it.
Oh yeah,
Let's be that
all
guy.
the time. All the time. It would just depend if I saw, like a $50 payday on it, So even though I was only buying it for like $1 or less, if it had no sales rank and no offer, I would think about it for. I mean, I wasn't making listings for stuff, but
oh yeah, screw that.
When I started I started FBA the first year you could do FBA, and I really wish I would have known about private labeling and stuff like that, because it would have been amazing. But any book I grabbed, it could be the most popular book, which is selling for a penny merchant fulfilled. I was able to sell it for $10 FBA, easy. And since the fees were so low, a $10 FBA sale would be like, I think $7 of payout.
Oh.
Now a $10, that same book selling for $10 would only be like $3 payout. But that's what happens over time. So you were doing the motivational wristbands.
Yeah, and then so it just ran into a bad supplier issue there. So those never got launched because I wasn't about to put something out there that I wasn't proud of. So that failed. But like I said, I don't remember what I paid, but for less than $300, I had gotten 1,000 of these. So, and it wasn't that big of an L. And then what did I move on to? Oh, these. We moved on to these. Do I have any more of them here? Basically, these hippie rave glasses. Actually, here, I got them in the other room right here. One sec.
Yeah, no worries. Brock just went over to grab some hippie rave glasses, as he said, which were apparently one of his private label products, which makes sense because I think Brock is a bit of a hippie, and you can tell by the lights in the background that he has some hippie blood inside of him. Hopefully what I'm saying is true, because Brock's not here to fact check me. So yeah, hopefully Brock is of hippie blood. I would imagine so. I've watched a little bit of his channel, and I get a little bit of hippie vibe off of him. So we're just waiting. Oh, Brock's back. I thought I was going to have to start talking in slow motion.
Yeah, so then I moved on to these crazy glasses.
Oh, those are like Mrs. What's-It glasses or something.
Yeah, I don't know. They're basically like for hippie costumes, or mostly people at EDM concerts.
Do they have prisms in the lenses? So you see mad rainbows? Can you put them on the camera? Let's see if it works. Okay, I got you. I kind of sense it. I sense it. You get fly vision with rainbows.
Yeah, so
there we go.
Yeah, so they're kind of cool. And then what was actually better was I got these. Nope, you can't see it. So I did these, and then I got like these nice, like I got some, basically they looked like they were selling a lot on Jungle Scout, but it said they were doing like 3,000 units a month. And I was like, holy crap, this is going to be awesome. And then I ended up figuring out they were only doing like 35 a month.
Right. And for people that are watching that don't understand why, it's because all of these services, they do not have access to the actual data. They are doing various methods and means to measure the supplies, and it's not exactly accurate. Like Jungle Scout, for example, I believe they're just estimating a sales volume based on current rank, which is very untrue. Someone could be running a giveaway right now, which, spikes their rank really hard. So they're not actually selling anything, but they were able to attain a rank that would only be possible if they were, if the demand was 100 units a day, 3,000 a month or whatever. So you got to test the market with these things. So they didn't sell as well as you were thinking.
Yeah, and they fell off my head too. So I was like, okay, let me make fancier looking ones. But the whole point was to wear them and dance or wear them. But they would fall off your head if they weren't. So I had made these custom and got different frames and everything. So that was neat. But yeah, they just didn't stay on your
Even the
head.
custom ones didn't stay on.
Yeah, the custom ones didn't stay on. So
You should have went with the Horace Grant strap.
I should have. Well, then I moved on to the goggles so that they would stay on your head.
Okay. So those are like the typical what's it called? Burning Man dust blockers.
Yep. Exactly.
Are
So
you a
moved on
hippie, Rock?
relatively.
Okay, I was sensing hippie vibes. Have you been to Burning Man?
No, I want to go this year though. We're getting an
That'd be
RV.
sick.
So we're gonna get a giant. We're probably gonna live in an RV for about half a year or a year, and then just go travel the U.S. and stuff. But then go to Burning Man too.
Sounds sick. Let's see these dust blockers. We didn't get to see them.
Okay, yeah. So we're missing a lens here,
Either way.
but let me put them. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, I got it. So you did go Horace Grant with those. They are strapped dust blockers with the prisms.
Oh yeah. So they're
with
crazy.
the spikes.
Oh yeah, but
So was that exactly similar to a product that was selling, or
yeah, it was identical to the
Okay.
ones on Amazon. And right when I came in, a Chinese person came in and essentially started to sell them at cost.
Ah, damn.
And then it was just, wow, like, come on. It just wasn't worth it then. And
Right.
so then I was pissed off, but that ended up playing out pretty well because.
And at this time, were you making enough money off your private label attempts to keep going, or were you still living off the Radio Shack profit?
I was just living off the Radio Shack profit. And then we just had no income in January of 2017. And I was like, okay, screw it. I'm going to do $1 million in sales this year so that we can go and travel the world and do whatever we want. And so that was the goal, and had no idea how I was going to do it. And I started looking at products, but because I had been doing all of this work and talking to these manufacturers, a random glasses manufacturer messaged me and said, hey, the solar eclipse is hot. Do you want to buy solar eclipse glasses?
The solar eclipse is hot, pun intended.
Yeah. And so I was like, sure, tell me about it. He sent me a 1-sentence email, and then he never responded to me. So I was like, come on, whatever.
Wow.
And I was,
again, call back to what we were saying, the weird ways in the world works. We went from raving glasses to solar eclipse glasses.
Yeah, it was just crazy. So, every single thing brought me to a different step along the way. If my buddy wasn't getting high on the couch, none of this would have happened. If I wouldn't have tried to do these rave glasses, it wouldn't have happened. And now I'm trying to pull this up. I just want to pull up this email for sentiment to just show you guys how crazy things can get.
Megan says you're her spirit animal.
I never thought of myself as a spirit animal, but thank you, Megan.
So Brock's pulling up an email right now. The email where he sent you the 1-sentence heads up.
Yeah, 1 sentence. Come on, there's got to be. Okay.
You gotta print this thing out, bro. Frame it.
Did he actually send? Yeah. Well, it looks like I can't find it for some reason.
Either way, I don't think it's too important right now. So he sends you the 1-sentence thing, and you're like, all right, whatever. Tell me about these things.
Yeah. Oh, I think I found it. All right, screw it. Okay. Whatever. I'll post it sometime. Anyways, what was the question?
So he told you about the solar eclipse glasses. You want to make $1 million this year or do $1 million in sales. You don't know anything about the solar eclipse at this point in time. You don't know what he's talking about, solar eclipse glasses. And so what does he tell you when you ask for more information?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
He never responded to me.
So then what? You
So
went to do
I
your
just
own
went into,
research?
well, I was actually about to go to China for the second time because I had went to China before and I went to the Canton Fair and I was trying to import lights because I love lights. Oh, and I had also done LED strip lights, a bunch of different ones of those, but those didn't work either. So, um, then I was going back for a second time to go to actual manufacturers of LED lights, and I just wanted to find one that I could trust because a lot of Chinese, they lie about the quality or their certifications, or they just lie about a lot just to
Right.
make you
Or
happy.
maybe you're buying them from someone who's buying them from someone else who's buying them from someone else versus getting
Yep,
them directly from the factory.
exactly. So I just wanted to go there, check it out, and that was kind of where my my dreams of importing lighting died because most of the manufacturers I found were junk, and they'd say they have these certifications, and then I finally get there, they've got the certification printed on the product, but it's not real. So I said, okay, let me see the paperwork. They're like, oh, we can get that certification. I'm like, oh, so you can get that UL certification that you've already printed on it, and we're about to sell me. Oh yeah, you pay $15,000. I'm like, and then we might get it. Like, come on, they're just gonna
Right.
do anything to get the sale. And then, but they emailed me. That guy emailed me about the Eclipse glasses the day before I went to China, and I looked at the numbers on Jungle Scout, and it's all right. The top guy was doing about 300 a month, but there wasn't much competition at the time. There's
And
maybe
at the same
20.
time, you knew it was like a super duper cheap product.
Well, yeah. So it's like, hey, this could work, and so I was just like, maybe we'll do this, and then we went on the plane trip to China, and then I started to do the math and how many people are there. Okay, how many? And it's going to go over 15 million people's heads. Like literally, 15 million will be right underneath it.
Right. And that's
How
not
the
counting the people who are going to not see the total solar
I
eclipse.
didn't take that into account until after the eclipse, to be honest.
Right. And so you're like,
I
this
didn't
only
think,
happens how often? What is it? Once every 100 years or something?
well, it matters where you are, but
Oh yeah,
there'll
yeah.
be
The
another
last one
total
wasn't
eclipse.
over North America.
There will be another one in 2024, and then the next one's not till 2048 in the US.
Okay.
So, I mean, to have one come over your house is once in a lifetime. And how could you not go outside and look at it?
Exactly. That
Like,
makes a lot of sense.
everybody's going to talk about it, but in like, who you want to be that guy who's like, oh no, I just kept working for that 2
I just
minutes.
watched the NASA live stream.
Yeah, no way in hell. You're going to watch it. All right. So I said 15 million people have to watch this. Could I take 1% of the market? Okay. Yeah. So I just did basic math and I said, what percentage of the world is e-commerce in the US? Okay. It's about 10% is e-commerce.
So
It's
1% is going to be what, 150,000?
yeah. Well, I was using 10 million as a rough. My basic goal was, can I sell 10,000 glasses or can I sell 100,000 glasses and can I make $1 a piece?
Okay.
I ended up selling 1 million and made $6 a piece.
Wow.
So I 10x'd, I 60x'd my goals. Um, but my original goal is like, hey, can I just make 100 grand? That should be enough to travel for a year, and go do basically everything we want to do.
So you actually made 6 million profit.
Oh
Or
wait,
you're
shit. Sorry. I did that. I sold for $6 a piece, but my total net profit was like 3. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just want to correct everyone.
Yeah.
They'll
Sorry
jump
about
on me
that.
faster than hyenas on Simba. But so let's rewind a little bit. How many did you order at first? Where did you get them? I
Well,
think I recall you said you got them from a domestic supplier, correct?
yeah, but well, because I went through and I saw how all these people lied to me about lighting, and I said, okay, well, it only takes one house burn down to lose it all if you
Right.
are selling lighting products. So I don't want to import anything until I've done this right. That's why I went to China twice and I would go to the factory and like I do my due diligence. So I did the same thing. And well, and now these people are going to be staring at the sun. And there's going to be a lot of stupid people. Okay.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm
A lot of
really
them.
want to make sure that I've got good product. And so then I did all this research and then I just started to contact all the manufacturers and basically I would, okay, well, like, what are the certifications that are needed and whatnot? Everybody said, yeah, we can get that certification. But they actually couldn't because they didn't have the right physical materials to
Right.
pass any of these tests. But so they were all just lying about these materials. And then eventually some of them would just, yeah, I'd message them, they'd be like, whatever, and stop talking to me. I'm not going to make money off this guy. Let's go to the next one. And then some of them would actually send me forged documents saying that they were like certified. And then what I would do is I would look up who certified that. Oh, that's not a real company even. Or, oh, that's just a fake company made by them.
Mm.
So they'll make up their own fake cert company website. And then so I would go to the overarching cert body and say, okay, is this a certified certifier to certify this company?
Is this a certified certifier? Oh my God.
Well, yeah.
So they were certified unregistered.
So they were not a real certifier, you know? So they're using a fake certifier to make this fake certification. Well, it's big money, you know? Because
Yeah.
for some things, let's say some certifications you don't need really. They're just kind of regulatory. Like, do you really need my sister's eyelashes? Do you really need like an eyelash certification to put on people's eyelashes? No, but you got to get them. But with people looking at the sun, that you need that. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
But so, anyways, then at the end of the day, the only place I could find real certified, literally, not a single place in China made a certified glass for the Eclipse.
Wow.
Not a single one, because I contacted every manufacturer, and I know all the ones that were actually certified, and they all came from the U.S. So that was how I figured out about it.
And how many did you order at first?
25,000, because they were only quarter or 30 cents.
How many different variations did you get?
At first, I got 2. I made 2 designs. So
you could order whatever you wanted printed on the paper.
Yeah, so I made my own paper designs. That was my thing. Was, well, I don't want to just sell what everybody else is selling. So then I went on to 99 Designs and I wrote a really, really detailed description. And then was like, okay, this, we need this. And I just put the highest prize amount that I could afford. It was like $500 or something. It got really, really descriptive. And then I got people, who were made awesome designs. And then they started competing against each other. And yeah, so I love 99 Designs.
So what kind of designs did you end up putting on them? I imagine, well, you probably got like the American flag joints.
Yeah, so I just thought about it. I said, okay, well, how can you mathematically and strategically be creative? Well, all that we're ever doing, when you use a word, that's just a symbol that represents every time you heard that word in your past,
Right.
the images associated with it, and the person that said it. So that's the same thing that an image does. Now, for example, like why, if you see a Nazi flag or something, like then, why people instant feelings get evoked.
Right.
So I thought, well, what are all the nostalgic types of images that I could involve in these to get people to buy and to order to like make the target audience. So I made one that was specifically geared towards women, and then one that was specifically geared towards the spacey people, and then also one more towards just all like the I love America people. Those people that be like America, those people. So I segmented out these markets and then said, okay, these are the types of words and the types of images and logos they like. Be creative within these bounds.
Yeah, so let's say like pink with flowers, American flags with hot dogs, and space planets, Saturn rings, like man on the moon type stuff.
Yep, exactly. So I said those and said, here is the goal, here is the product, here's your template. Be creative within these bounds. And they did that perfectly. And then I just took their work and then just tested it against 50 people, and just like asked everybody I knew what was your favorite? And then, okay, we chose the favorite. And then I took the favorites and then I put those back out to the people and I said, okay, here's the best. Let's be creative now within this one. And then they did another round where everybody competed then and made it even better. So, and then that's how I made the best design.
So you had three or four different color variations?
Yep.
And then you also had a bunch of different bundles, right? You did a single pair, 2 pairs, 5 pairs, 10 pairs, 20 pairs.
Yeah, because there's some people who would just want to buy with their like their one kid and their wife, or there's people who want to have a party. There's schools, and so I originally bought that 25,000 because I said, well, I'm getting them for the cheapest price that you could possibly buy them at. Like that's what the manufacturer is charging me. So there's going to be some people out there. If I can't sell these, I could call up schools and local businesses, and I could pitch these one by one, selling 100 at a time for $1
You had a
piece.
backup plan.
Yeah. So that's where I was confident with buying these 25,000. Somebody's going to buy them. Like,
Yeah, that backup plan is so solid. Like I have a couple friends that own brick and mortars, and those guys, I was like, man, dude, if you could have had, a stack of 10,000 solar eclipse glasses, or 1,000, whatever, you could have sold them for $5 to $10 a piece to every single customer that came into your store.
yep.
Everybody that comes in for the month up to the solar eclipse, that's the easiest sale you're ever gonna make.
Yeah. And some people were so procrastinated. But I think it was actually the guy I knew at Radio Shack, one of the managers there. They were saying, oh, corporate wants to buy, because they found out I was selling eclipse glasses. And I started a relationship with them. They're like, I think it was the Thursday before the eclipse, and the eclipse was on a Monday. They're like, is there any way you could overnight us some? You couldn't? You guys waited this long?
Yeah, you're slipping.
Like,
So how long did it take you to sell the first 25,000? Because you said you bought 100,000 pairs. So then I'm assuming after that you bought another.
1 second, I'm putting a new battery in.
Oh, no worries. I'm assuming after that you purchased. Did you make the next purchase? Was the rest of them 75,000, or did you purchase in 2 or more other purchase waves?
1 second here.
We're just waiting for Brock to put a new battery in his camera because he's using a fancy DSLR camera with some kind of wizardry, technology wizardry. Let's see what's going on in the chat. So the chat has a question. They want to know, how early did you start selling them?
March was my first sale, like about a year ago today.
Okay.
My first sale.
And when did you really realize that it was going to be insane?
In June, I kind of realized it was going to be big, but I would say
obviously July is probably when you sold most of them. Yeah.
Well, no, I sold the most in August.
Unless you sold out. Yeah.
Yeah. I was selling until August.
So the solar eclipse was August 21st, just for the record.
August 21st, my last day that I made sales. I ran out of stock on August 17th.
Oh, wow.
The last day that you could possibly ship is right when my stock, my reserves, like, boom.
And did you purchase the additional 75,000 pairs in the next purchase from your supplier, or did you do
Well,
more
no,
than
I sold
one?
1 million glasses.
Oh, you sold a million pairs. I thought you said you sold 100,000.
No, the goal was to make $100,000.
Okay, yeah, I got confused. Too many numbers for me. So you sold 1 million pairs. After you purchased the 25,000 pairs, what did you purchase next?
I think I bought 50 then.
And then after that, how many?
50. I think I was kind of buying them at 50 at a time. And then at one point I saw a squeeze coming where I started to do the math and really realize how much our country was procrastinating. Because I had this original hypothesis that there's like a common human procrastination curve.
Yeah.
Where everybody no matter what the event, we're all going to procrastinate in the same way. And I made those projections, and then I started to see my sales were reflecting that curve perfectly. So I said, if I'm right, I need to order like 300,000 glasses tomorrow. And if I wait to order, he's not going to be able to deliver in time, because pretty soon everybody else is going to start throwing their orders in.
And how much were you paying again?
Well, I was paying $0.25 a piece. But then I had to start just saying, I'll pay more. I'll pay more.
So what? So you could expedite your order, or just to command the quantity over other buyers?
Well, it was like eventually a demand outstripped what he could produce. So he had to start choosing, like, who am I going to sell to?
Okay, that
and he
makes
cut
sense.
off everybody because then all the resellers came in and they tried to come in and just buy his own stock or and in there he only had so many glasses machines, so he would sell his designs, but he would also sell mine. So I was like, I'm competing against him, and if they're buying smaller quantities, why is he going to turn them down? If I get a bulk quantity, why would he jam up his machines and he make less?
So the
So
supplier were they selling on Amazon themselves?
no.
No, but you were. And not eBay at all, just Amazon, correct?
Yeah, I sold a little bit on eBay, but then I cut that off eventually.
Yeah, too much work,
Well,
huh?
I also made goggles. So we made these because the paper glasses were okay, but we wanted like they let in light, so it was like you want to get the absolute best one. So we made this one. And
Nice.
yeah, these are the best Eclipse viewers in the world. So
Yeah, those are sick, and you could use them to blow glass too, probably.
yeah, you can.
Nice.
They're not certified technically, but they're not a certified work product, so I had to put that on the packaging. But use at your own risk if you're going to use in a work environment.
Yeah, those are nice.
But yeah.
Did the price start going up?
Yeah,
Or did you said you sold them for $6? I'm assuming that means your average sell price.
average, but I was selling them for near the end about $20 a glass.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know the price skyrocketed so much where like you couldn't get them online for a reasonable price at all, but people were actually going around and buying them because some people purchased a large stock. Maybe they were the Chinese ones, I don't know, but they were then selling them on Craigslist for, I don't know, $4 a piece originally. And then when they were selling for $20 and more on Amazon, the street dealers didn't really realize it yet. So you could go, I know people that bought hundreds of pairs for like $2 to $4 a piece off the street and then
Oh,
they were flipping them on eBay and Amazon.
smart. Yeah.
So you had 1 million pairs, you sold 1 million pairs for an average sales price of $6. Your total profit was about $3 million in this year. This is your biggest success in private label. How many units were you selling in a day at sometimes?
I don't know. I mean, on one SKU, I was selling 3,000 units, and that was a package of like 12 or something.
In
And
a
that was just
day?
on one. Yeah, I had 44 different listings. So
44 different variations. So it's basically safe to say if we searched solar eclipse, we saw a lot of your listings.
yeah,
That's
yeah, very
awesome.
very likely.
Way to
So
go. So someone in the chat has a good question. Steve wants to know how many people returned their glasses the next day.
a lot, but maybe $100,000 worth.
Okay. So
So I mean,
a
it
drop in
sucked,
the pot.
but yeah, like I made a lot of money, at the end of the day. So that it worked out in my
So
favor.
it's safe to say the solar eclipse changed your life basically.
Yeah,
Or if
basically.
you want to think back to it, your homie smoking weed on the couch browsing
Yeah,
Reddit changed your
dude,
life.
it did. That was it. Honestly.
That's insane to break it down to that. So, with your newfound, what did you do? Did you go buy a Lamborghini or a brand new house? How has your life changed since you made $3
Um,
million selling on Amazon?
I don't worry about what I buy at the grocery store. That is nice. I don't worry about what if I want something, I just buy it. But I don't buy anything big. But now my rule is like if it's under $50, like if it's going to improve my life in some way, it's worth it. And I do it. Anything that improves the quality of my life. But I don't no, I didn't we got a camper trailer for like 15 or 13 grand or something. And then we're going to get a really big one. And we'll probably get a truck so that we can live in that. But you don't really take a hit on that because it's an asset if you buy it right, and you take a little
Right.
bit of depreciation. But yeah, so I don't why blow it.
Right. So, are you invested in stock market, or is it just in the bank, or did you dump it
Right
all into
now,
cryptocurrency? What are you doing?
I played a little bit with crypto, a little bit with stocks and stuff, but I saw some tremors. I saw some tremors in January and February that were at a very unstable time, and I honestly think we're at very big risk right now of a large crash. So I'm just cash. I was cash pretty much
waiting
the
to
whole
buy.
time. Well, I determined we were in a bubble in January, and so I said, okay, the best time that I would actually ever like to invest would be a bubble. So let me ride the bubble, and then it crashed, and I set a stop loss, and we were, my stop loss hit, and I said if we hit this stop loss level, I'm not confident in it anymore. If we go to negative 10% on the Dow Jones Industrial, Nasdaq, everything, then I think we're at a fundamental larger correction period of time.
So someone wanted to know, are you in the glasses business still at all? Do you do maybe 3D glasses with like TVs and video games?
No, it's a dying market. I have the supplier and everything, and he's the world's largest supplier, but I'm just at a point where it's now making money it's just a formula. Like Amazon is just a giant formula, essentially.
And you're still doing private label, correct?
I've got a brand that I'm developing right now that will be like the mega brand, but I'm really taking my time to make the best products. And now I'm going after $1 million products, like $1 million profit SKUs. So I'm not going to build out 50, bunts, but that's what I would start with. But when you get up to these larger profits, there's only a couple guys that have enough money to make this happen. And I think I have some competitive advantages in certain other ways. So that's what I'm going after right now. And those should be launching in, I hope, August.
So after you made your 3 mil off the solar eclipse glasses, is that when you decided to start your personal brand and start teaching others through YouTube and stuff like that? How did that go? I know you also said you did the 4 Ds with Gary V. So you went to meet up with Gary V.
Yes, I did. Well, you see, what I realized was, okay, there's this opportunity to do Amazon. It's amazing. But then what? What is it for? It's just to make money. Will I have money? How much? Like, I don't go and blow money on crazy stuff. I want to build a big mansion in the mountains. So that is the one thing that's still driving me for money. But where was I going with that?
The purpose of Amazon personal branding.
Oh yeah. So what I realized was, well, I really feel like I love motivational stuff, and that's what really helped me out when I got going. Was listening to motivational videos or seeing other success stories and other people that taught me on you, because I literally learned from YouTube and from podcasts. I just literally would throw things up on 3 to 4x speed and just consume. I've listened to thousands of podcasts. I'm not kidding, over 1,000. And I just consume, and I love to talk. And then Brian Burt, I was messaging him because I was asking him questions, and he's like, "Oh, let's bring you on a webinar, man." And I was like, "Okay, let's go. I'll just come on a webinar." And everybody was like hating on me, as they thought we were like trying to sell something, and there's no way this guy was 0 to 6 million in 6 months. And but we went on, and it was awesome. And the messages I got from people, like, I don't know how to say it, when you just hear people saying like that they look up to you and that like you've inspired. Yeah, right. Like that kind of stuff. That's at a certain point, money, it's not about the money anymore, because the money just helps like get rid of that. What am I going to buy at the grocery store? Like that pain is gone of making those decisions. But now it's more of the fulfillment of like, how do I make somebody else's life better?
Right.
Because,
and I had the same experience too. Not that I have made $3 million in 6 months, but I have a relatively comfortable life. I'm able to eat organic food and stuff that I didn't used to do before I sold on Amazon. But I was always just working for the money, hustling to make more money. And I always thought that, I'm not saying I was unhappy, but I definitely, part of me wasn't fully fulfilled, and I'm still not fully fulfilled, but there was a much larger spot of me. And for some reason in my head, I had this recipe. If I work hard enough and make enough money, when that pile of money is X size, I will be ultimately happy. And something happened in my head where it clicked, where I realized that was a lie. And all that was going to happen was a lot of your moments were going to vanish while you were trying to churn this large pile of money. And that when you had the pile of money, it would just be, you know, the next day of the week. It wouldn't be a big difference. But what happened was when I started getting feedback from people saying how I helped them, how I changed their life, how they were able to quit their job and now they sell online, or, you know, we're at Disneyland with the kids today and it couldn't be done without you, Reezy. Thank you, you know. And so that changed me, right, to where I felt fulfilled from that kind of stuff. Actually cured my asthma. I've had lifelong asthma. And yeah, it's just it's weird to me. Like I couldn't explain it to my younger self even if I tried to, because I was really driven by money. I'm not saying I'm not driven by money anymore, but it's not the end all be all. I would rather be happy and broke than be depressed and have $1 billion. It's just how I am.
Yeah, man, I'm all about that, and I agree with you on the it's a journey, you know, finding the fulfillment. And you know, and that I guess nobody's there. At least I think. Maybe there's a couple people, but they don't stay in it. It's always a constant battle. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess what my ideal dream has always been is to just kind of sit there and to take in different life philosophies and lessons and share what I've learned. And because that's how I love absorbing other people's lessons and sharing and talking about them. And okay, well, what do I have to offer to the world? Well, I know how to make money. Okay, cool. Like I'll give that to everybody for free. So that's why I'm making a course of like literally. So part of it was why I decided was there's a lot of people who their business is selling people information. And that's their entire business is just regurgitating information that they don't know truly themselves, that they have not experienced, and they make money from that. So if you ever hear Gary Vee bitching about people who make money just selling info products, like those are the people that he's talking about. And I guess I saw that, and that so there was kind of anger there, but then also the fulfillment of helping people's lives. And it's like, you know, I can just give everything that I know to people. And so essentially there's no excuse. It's all there. And the philosophy that's required to be successful. And it's $1. Like there. Like that could help the world. And then as I so that's kind of where I'm at in my life. And
So working on building an extreme course. I'm assuming a private label course.
yeah, and I thought about like how could I do this in a way like I obviously need to make money, but so I was like, how can I build a course that makes me some money, but allows me to impact as many people as possible and doesn't ruin my reputation?
Right.
Well, everybody that's going to be a successful seller needs to use software and they need to know information. So if I just give my honest opinion of like all the services that are out there and then find like the ones that I've used and refer those, I can make enough in affiliates to pay for ads to give away the course. And so I could essentially just boom, 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 and get this thing rolling to a point where I'm able to make something great, give it to everybody for free, and nobody ever pays me any money. They only use it towards like achieving their dream. But
right.
so it's like this positive feedback loop, and then nobody's ever pissed that I like took money from them and they failed at something, because it's like, well, I gave it for free and you had a chance. Like some people will be successful and some people won't. But you know, it's not like my business is getting people to pay me for my course. My business is like actually more so like how many people do I affect positively, because my longer goal is building more of a movement and kind of just spreading my philosophy into the world. And then I'm also building personal development software that I'll be getting into that later. But and then eventually, I mean, that I guess will be my pitch someday, is like, hey, I gave everything I knew to everybody, and I made these tools that I think make people's lives better, and there's a free version. Like,
check it out.
Feedback. Yeah. So I
So
mean,
you're
everybody's always
also
doing something, but
you're also a Tony Robbins fan, right?
I am.
You're a member of what level of Tony Robbins?
He has a platinum group, so that's what I am a member of now. So
That which is something that happened all because of your buddy was smoked out on the couch.
yes. Okay, so that was okay. So I did spend $75,000 on that. So if some people ask, like, what'd you do? I didn't go buy a Ferrari. I went and bought, uh, access to this group of some super high performers in life that all want to get the most fulfillment out of life.
Nice. So this is the thank you for the $5 super chat, Megan. This is for the group where you actually get to go on retreats with Tony Robbins, yeah?
Yeah, you get to go to his house and get to talk to him and meet him, and yeah, so it's
I know a couple
pretty
other people
excited.
that are in the group, and my buddy Steve Rakin just went to the San Jose event. Have you been to any Tony Robbins events?
Yeah, I've been to Date with Destiny and Unleash the Power Within.
Did you walk on the coals?
Yeah, and it doesn't, you don't even feel it.
Is it the truth? Are you just so hyped that you don't feel it, or are hot coals not as hot as we all think they are?
No, what you realize is the fear of things is worse than the actual thing.
Okay.
And just about everything. Like I actually was
So if I go into walking across the coals knowing that they're not going to be hot, am I going to actually burn myself?
Yeah, maybe if you go too slow. Well, it's the people that would like pause and fear that burn there and actually got blisters.
Okay. So you just go quick and you're done.
Yep.
Is that like a 4-day event where you lose your voice from yelling back at Tony Robbins?
It was literally so bad that I met this one guy and like I couldn't even get anything out. Like I was having to it was pretty embarrassing.
On day 4, you were like a silent. You couldn't even say anything.
Well, Date with Destiny 6 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was, and I was trying to make YouTube videos too at the same time and upload them at night, and no, just
not happening. How long were the days?
14 hours.
Holy Moses.
12, 14, and then I would go home and work.
And Tony Robbins is there the whole time?
No.
How long? So who's doing all the
there for about? He's probably there for about 8, 10
a day.
Yeah.
Still, that's a huge commitment.
Yeah, man, he goes all out. It's pretty crazy.
I give it up for him. There's people getting paid. Obviously, Tony Robbins makes a lot of money from his events or whatever, but I believe in Tony Robbins. He's doing a good thing. I'm not, one of those people that thinks he's a scam. Very insightful human being. But have you ever been to a concert where you paid whatever you paid, and then they just come up and they do like 5 songs and leave?
Oh yeah, the 1 hour set.
You're like, what just happened? You just did 5 songs and left. Like,
yeah, no, he doesn't let down. So if anybody ever goes, is thinking about an event, I'd say it's definitely worth it.
So let's bring it back to Gary V. You paid $10,000 also. Another purchase you did to go.
Yeah, that was the other thing
with Gary V for the 1 day of personal branding. My friend Glenn Zubia, Hustler Hacks, also did this. What did you learn from Gary V and his team in that time period? And how did that change your course?
Yeah, so I guess what I learned was, well, one, Instagram is really important. So everybody should follow me at official Brock Johnson.
What's up? I'll put the link down there in the description. I have your YouTube link down there. It's actually an auto subscribe link, so you'd be proud of me.
Woo! Oh, what's up? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But Instagram, your organic reach is just so high, and it's so much easier to create content for Instagram, and because
it's much less formal than YouTube.
Yeah, and one of the main things I learned is that part of why I'm making this personal brand is the business decision too, because if you're able to provide value to people and you only ever do good to them, that is so valuable, because you're able to help, tens of thousands of people. And then if you ever build a business or something that serves them, you make their life better. They help you. You've helped them. It's like this positive feedback loop. And so what Gary's doing now, you start to see, he's reaching out to these small businesses and teaching them how to do social media and everything. And so now he's like slowly starting to sell to his audience, but he does it in only ethical ways and never is like, you need to have my business, like I have the secrets and I'm hiding them and you have to pay me. It's like, no, I give you everything. But if you need like specialized help or stuff, like, or a tool that we only have, like you could come and get it. So I guess what, and then just realizing that really TV's going to die, and like literally social media is the most powerful thing that's ever existed, I guess is what I really learned there.
And it's free.
Yeah, and it's free. And just it's the I guess it's kind of like real estate too. Okay, you could go buy cheap beachfront property at one point, and now it's really expensive because everybody wants it. There's only so much of it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, there's only so much attention in this world, and that's what I really got hammered in there was there's never going to be more there's never more hours in a day, and there's only so many figures in your head, and there's going to be somebody that fulfills each role. And if you want to displace someone from a role that's already in their head, you have to be 10 times better. It's like if you want to make a new Google now, you have to make something that's 10 times better than Google.
Right.
And
That
same
makes a
with
lot of sense. I tell people that too, that like why I tell people you need to get a personal brand, you need to get on social media, you need to, provide your value, draw your audience around you, because I think that right now is a huge bubble. Like you said, there's only a certain amount of attention. It might get a little bit more as our older crowd is not like people that were used to watching TV, but the reality is, what is it going to increase 10 or 15% more? But guess what's going to increase far more? Every single kid in America is going to have a personal brand by the time they're 12 years old. These kids, I had to work a whole summer washing dishes to get a video camera, and we had telephone modems. These kids have hand-me-down phones that are like better than movie cameras were 10 years ago, and they can upload straight to YouTube. So I think we're in a bubble, a huge bubble, where anybody can like become the next Kim Kardashian. They don't have to be from a wealthy family. You can just start recording yourself, and if you have what the audience wants, there you go, you made it. And it might not be there forever. Also, that's only assuming that the way we communicate stays the same. Maybe in the future, we are, right now it's face to face through like Snapchat, Instagram, me to you directly. Maybe in the future, everything's like heavy on VR, and it's not, video cameras. It's like wireframe and textures and like models, so it's not me looking at your eyes telling you, hey, you should do this. It's going to work out. It's different, so
yeah. But here's the thing, that won't happen all at once.
definitely not.
And you're still going to be going on Instagram and YouTube. And then when one of those changes happens, whoever has the attention there says, hey, follow me on this new thing. So once like it's consolidated of like he is the like you are the personal brand of like hustler, like and there's only so many of those in people's heads that they're gonna like consume because like there's only so much attention. People choose a side. But to start a new one at a certain point becomes almost impossible because you start to depend on organic ranks. But if you're depending upon only organic ranking, eventually they sell more and more of the attention. So it's like you either have to pay to play or you have to be really way better that your engagement is so much better than everybody else.
Right, which I'm starting to see now. Obviously, Facebook is totally pay to play. If you're not paying on Facebook, you're not getting any impressions on the reel. Instagram is a lot more organic, but I'm starting to see the pay to play trend on Instagram. I see certain people that are running sponsored ads every single day on Instagram. So, if you scroll your scroll your Instagram feed right now, and I believe I'll scroll mine right now. Do it with me, guys, if you have your phone, and see how many pictures you can go through before you see an ad. 1, 2, 3. The third photo I saw was a video, and it was a sponsored ad. So you're going to go 3 to 5 posts before you see a sponsored ad every single time on Instagram. So, and obviously it's not, the algorithm's not like linear, right? It's not when it was posted. Like, you guys have all experienced this. You've seen an ad for like a show or for an event, and the event's already over, but the ad's at the top of your feed. Why are you seeing this 2-day-old advertisement for an event that's already over? So it's becoming more pay to play. So definitely with competition becomes, how are you going to beat out the competition? More content, more ads, something.
Well, here's the thing. There's only so much, so attention is limited. Okay? All of our attention right now is on social media. And like you said, there's more ads, but at a certain point, they can't add any more ads.
Definitely
Or we
cannot.
stop using it. And then they want to keep your attention. So then they only show the things that get the most engagement by the algorithm or that people have already interacted with, it's proven that they like to interact with that. So we eventually become into this point where we become into these silos where only the big brands and the popular accounts get suggested organically. And the only other way is you have to literally do ads for your personal brand. And that's what I do. I've realized, hey, if I wait for a YouTube to show me organically to grow my channel,
And
that's going to take
suggested
forever.
videos.
I don't want to do that.
Brock's giving away the nuggets, guys.
Yeah, so there's in the value of that brand is like to just like it matters if you're doing nefarious things with it, it's bad. But I never am. And so I just literally am like I run ads and I'm just like this is me.
So if you guys go look at Brock's YouTube channel, you can understand, you can see which videos he's ran ads on because you can see
hundreds of thousands of views.
Hundreds of thousands of views, but also a massive disproportionate amount of dislikes on videos.
Yeah, so I do piss some people off.
People dislike ads.
So, but that's the thing. And now is I'm working on, hey, how do I say, hey, this is an ad, but this is why I'm doing it, and this is why you should subscribe to my channel because I'm not just like a person that monetizes you. I like actually care, but I'm not going to sit back and wait because there's this big difference in supply and demand of attention. So that's kind of the path that I'm taking. And Gary Vee runs ads. Gary Vee pays for his content to be paid by people.
Yeah, I don't know if he does traditional YouTube pre-rolls, but he definitely pays.
Just started.
Okay, cool. So I haven't seen any, but I do know that for the longest time that Team Gary Vee pays smaller influencers on Instagram to repost his videos.
Yeah, so like that's what it comes down to. Like,
I mean, which makes sense because he's always talking about that. Do you want to put, 5 Gs on a YouTube pre-roll, or do you want to, do 50 people for what, $100? I don't know if my math is right on that. Either way, I think you get more when you cast a wider net. So in the future, if you see a Reezy pre-roll and it's like, "What's up, guys?" and I'm not selling you anything, it's going to be because Brock helped me out with that.
Or let's say this, you make a really philosophical video and YouTube is only going to show it to 5% of your organic audience. That's it. Like, but you have, you got tens of thousands of people that you're subbed. And like, I made a video talking about how money doesn't bring you happiness. I wish every one of my subscribers would watch that, but it's not, YouTube isn't going to show it to everybody. So I'll actually pay my own money to teach my philosophy that I believe in the world and a lesson that like was really important to me, to my fans. Like I will literally just with no expectation of anything, just because I want them to know that lesson that I learned. Where like, and it feels kind of weird because nobody does that, but I think you're going to see more stuff like that in the future.
Yeah, as YouTube gets more competitive, it becomes more of a pay to play. That seems to be the topic of the end of the show. Social media is becoming pay to play.
Yeah, it is.
Because your only other option is to 10x your competition, and that's a lot harder to do. 10x quality and quantity, in my opinion.
I can do the 10x quality, but the quantity.
Right. And that's why a lot of people, if you guys ever notice anyone that shot up quickly on YouTube organically, it's probably because they started posting daily videos. And think about this. If you post one video a week, that's 52 chances a year for people to discover you. If you post 3 videos a week, that's 156 videos a year. But if you post a video every damn day, that's 365 video chances, 365 at bats. And you're much more likely to have a video that pops really hard, that gets shared up by a lot of people, that goes viral, and brings you a lot of subscribers. Because the reality is of a growing YouTuber's catalog, most of your videos, let's say they bring you 100 subscribers. Every once in a while, you're going to post a video that brings you 1,000 subscribers. And you need more of those 1,000 subscriber videos for you to grow your channel, because the reality is 60% of your views are coming from non-subscribers on YouTube. So, and I looked at my own statistics when me and Brock spoke on the screening call before the show, and I have a little over 1.6 million views on YouTube, but 990,000 of them are from non-subscribers.
So what you need to
Which is
do is
pretty
you need to make a
insane.
video that's retargeting, saying, "Hey, I saw you. Like, you should subscribe to my channel," and then target it only at those people, because they probably liked your content, but they're like, they forgot to subscribe, or like, because
Right.
it sucks when we make videos. You might get annoyed of us saying, "Hey, subscribe, leave a comment." Like, we're only doing that because we have to. We don't want to say that stuff. Like,
Exactly.
unless we have a true question that we really care about, which does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
But
So I have a new strategy now I learned from Brian G. Johnson, which he does YouTube growth stuff, is that I tell people to subscribe in the beginning. I essentially basically say, hey, you're going to like this. You might as well subscribe now. Then somewhere in the video, I remind them with a bouncing, like, remember to subscribe to the channel. And then at the end of the video, I don't ever like wrap my videos up and be like, this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching it. I say something like, before you know it's the end, because people leave as soon as they know it's the end. So before the end hits, or before they're aware of the end, I say, hey, if you guys want to know how to make more money on the internet or learn how to build a personal brand, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell alerts so that you don't miss anything. Thanks for tuning into the show. See you on the next one. Peace. Real quick.
I like it. I need an end screen like that.
Yeah, well, I think it just helps. I think there's so much different stuff with YouTube. Like, a lot of people, they strike the gold vein or whatever, and they just start blowing up. My buddy Rally Roots, his channel's doing really well right now. But for a lot of people, it's a struggle. I don't do extremely well
Speaking
on
of
YouTube.
struggle, he got 37,000 followers off of one video.
Exactly.
So yeah, Derek struggled like over a third of his followers from one video. So that's just proof.
Right. That's more followers than I have on YouTube from
right?
one
From
video.
one video of okay, yeah, one video. Yeah, that's just crazy.
It's just like a product research video, correct?
Yeah, it's just a product research video. Like but
Right.
the algorithm liked it. Or
because I think a lot of people are I think in the field of Amazon business, private label is the most searched for thing, because everyone sees it, although it's not, everyone sees it as the get rich quick scheme. It's the thing you can do from your house without leaving. It's the thing that your location doesn't matter. Anywhere in the United States is good as the next spot. And it's the thing that, it's seen as like this lazy get rich quick scheme on Amazon. And I think the next would be
not true.
Right. The next would probably be the wholesale. And then after that is mostly what I do, which is like retail arbitrage, which is really a grind. But all the private label sellers I know, even if they sold 10 million in sales, they're well off, but they're not super rich or anything. Like Anthony Buitran, I think he did 3 million in private label, but he was just telling me straight up, he was like, I pay myself 30 grand a year. And, all my money's in inventory, sales rich, cash broke, all my money's tied up in inventory. And it's a constant struggle to keep your inventory going, to create variations, to find new products. And the people that are really successful with private label, I think they are just really quick at realizing their ideas are bad. So they get good at launching products and brands, but also even better at realizing when they stink, so that they can abandon them as quick as possible and find more winners in the long term.
That is important. Well, and here's the other thing. A lot of them, I'm my math major, and I look at every product. If you've looked at every product that I took, it always had higher than like a 6 or 7 ROI. So I knew that I could turn my 1,000 into 6 or 7. So maybe it fails, but if it fails, I barely lost anything. And if it succeeds, I have enough to make 4 more products right away. So that's what I've always done. But a lot of these people, they go out and they buy something. They'll do it with something with like an 80% ROI, and they do it C shipping. So now they've just dug themselves a 6-month hole. It's
Correct.
like, yeah, they could make money, but they didn't think what like that. So you can grow like this, but, or like think about with retail ARB. Like that's why I learned it so fast, was like, I'm not going to buy something that gives me 10% ROI, but or you just got to see really like what's the turnaround time and what's my ROI. And
Yeah.
by doing that for 2 years, I got really good at it. So then when I was looking at private label, I actually have this big formula that I made in a whole notebook. And it was that there were certain types of products that I could just essentially just keep doing. And with that, they would eventually, the storage was so low and the ROI was so high. I just needed to make a machine that as long as 1 out of 50 products was successful, it would make money.
Yeah.
So
I think times have changed a little bit, but with the new rules that they have, but you're exactly right with that. But also, I just love that there's so many different ways to skin the Amazon cat, essentially. So I know someone that sells basically the high end of their margin is 20%, but they sell a ton of stuff that's 10 to 20% margin and probably an average of 15% margin. But they sell, their average selling price is probably $100, maybe
oh, nice.
200, maybe 500. And then the reality is they're investing $250,000 in products every month.
Ooh.
So, 15% profit on $250,000 every month is actually
Ooh.
decent.
Oh, yeah. Just cash flow.
Yeah, exactly.
I know of a
Cash
guy
flow
like
is
that
insane.
actually. He does a lot of money, but he's just like, we're gonna be broke for the next 10 years with our business model. And it's like, and then he could cash out, or he could sell, or he could just say, I'm gonna screw it, we're not gonna grow, and then eventually, it grows. But
Right. Yeah, it's a constant battle. If you're not growing, you're dying.
yeah. So kind of topping it off, I guess I see this, just social media and personal brand. It's just the ability to reach a lot of people and have a big impact is what really influenced me.
I mean, it's super true, right? Like imagine if like Jesus had Twitter back in the day.
right?
That's the funniest quote I think I've ever said in my
Imagine if
life.
Jesus had Twitter.
It'd be insane, right? Like he could have connected people for days. It's so
Yeah.
funny, but it's
So
insane, right? The reach that we
dude,
have
it is.
is insane. Like I constantly like people are like, "Oh, these kids they don't play outside," and I'm like, "Well, let's see what I used to do like before I started skateboarding. I used to like hit people with sticks, throw dirt clods at them. Like kids don't have to do that anymore. They have iPads. You know what I mean? Like we have so much connectivity. You can have friends that are like, my little brother, I think he's like 25. He has friends that he's never met in real life, but they've been playing online video games together since they were 12 years old.
Dang.
Like they're in the same like gaming squad, you know what I mean? For like over 10 years, 12 years. And it's like, those are your legit friends. You get off work, you go clock into Xbox Live or whatever, and then they're there and you guys are like just busting caps on people or whatever. But like, how's that any different than a real life friend? You know what I mean? Obviously, they're not showing up on moving day or whatever, but it's still a connection. And it's like kids are not limited to the local geographic selection pool anymore. You don't have to learn stuff just from the kids in your neighborhood. You can go on YouTube and learn how to break dance by watching kids from Japan who have YouTube channels or whatever. Whereas before, that was something you could only learn by being in a breakdancing crew or like scrounging up the like 5 breakdancing VHS videos that existed. But because of connectivity and access to knowledge and information, and everyone has a video camera in their pocket, like the world is changing. And it's great because if you have a personal brand or if you're able to capitalize in a certain way off of that, you can change the world and build a business for yourself, like actually helping people, which is what I'm trying to do.
Dude, I completely agree, man. It's so cool just the reach that we have, but also the good that we can do if you have a personal brand. So I know, for example, if you see BS, you reach out to them and you say, that's not cool, man. Are you going to do something about that? Or I'm going to like tell people, like, I see this, nobody's calling it out. Like, and you don't get silenced. Like you can like have a positive impact. And it's like, wait, he has a TV, essentially. Like that's like the news calling, like you're like the news station. It's like you can be a force for good and like investigate and tell the truth. And so it's just a cool positive impact that we're able to have. Or like as I talk to different software companies, and I'm like, yeah, well, like I'm not going to promote you guys unless you are going to be like the best tool, and you're missing this feature, and they build the feature for me.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna have I'm only gonna promote you if you're the best. So you guys should change something. So it's kind of cool. Just like when you have an audience, you're able to, if your audience wants that and you say that, then you have like together in a tribe, you have an influence.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it so much. So guys, just remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos that I'm putting out. The link is down here or down there. I'm terrible with this mirrored recording setup. Please also go subscribe to Brock's YouTube channel and follow him on Instagram. I believe it's the official Brock Johnson, or is it just official Brock Johnson?
Just official Brock Johnson.
Not the fake Brock Johnson, official Brock Johnson.
Yeah, and my followers that are on this, because I did post it, go follow Reezy, and then I'll probably cut this up, put parts on my channel, so they should go follow you too.
I appreciate that for sure. Repurposing the content, Gary V Strategy 101.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to build out a team for that.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions for Brock, send him a DM, comment on the video. We'll make sure you get your questions answered. Please tap the like button lightly. Don't smash it. We're going to need it. You know what I mean? Don't, you're going to need that thing, right, for future videos. But definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. And we have a saying around here, Brock. Do you know what it is? I don't know if you do.
I've watched a bunch of your videos. I don't know if I don't know if I've ever gotten to the end.
I said, if you ain't flipping.
Oh, you tripping?
You slipping.
Slipping. Okay, yeah, no, I've heard you say that before.
One more. Let's do it real quick. If you ain't flipping.
You ain't flipping, you slipping.
Yep, you slipping, guys. Don't slip. Tune into the live shows. Go check out Brock's channel. Stay on the lookout for his course when he gets it done. But Brock's a very smart dude. I'm sure you could learn a few things from him. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you didn't smash the like button yet, I don't hate you, but please smash it before you take off. And I'll see you guys next Monday with the Reezy Talks show, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're not able to make the live show, please check out the podcast. I'm publishing 3 episodes a week right now until I get caught up. And then it will be, eventually I'll be publishing to where on Tuesday morning you could expect a new episode, but it wouldn't be the one from the day before. It would be the one from the Monday previous. That way there's still some incentive for you guys to tune into the live show. But I do realize a lot of you don't have time. Like this time I spend making this show is the most time that I spend on YouTube. So I feel your pain because I don't have time to watch videos either. But I do definitely appreciate all your guys' attention for coming into the show, for picking up knowledge. And you guys could do me one favor. Just try and give some positive energy back to the universe around you and provide value however you can to make the world a better place, because it's easy to make the world a better place. One person can do it. You just have to start doing it. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Bye.